Preparing a Thanksgiving meal can be utterly exhausting. After being enslaved in that kitchen all day long, the last thing I want to do is cook the next couple of days. So today I wanted to share with you some just like leftover ideas of what you can do with your turkey and your sides to help make some really easy dinners and yet delicious dinners. For me personally, I do not want to eat turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans for the next 3 to 4 days. I just don't. I don't prefer having the same meal like every single day. So I'm going to be doing some different meals, some like options for you guys on what you can do instead of just having the plain old turkey and the leftover sides. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 different lunch and dinner options that you can make for your family instead of having some boring turkey and mashed potatoes. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to be making is this Monterey chicken bubble up, and it is oh so delicious. We're going to need a 9x13 pan, and you want to make sure that your pan is already greased and ready to go. We need 2 biscuits, the smaller ones, so I just did this like off-brand of the Biscuit Junior. It calls for 2 6-ounce cans, but these off-brand are 7-ounce, which is really fine. I like biscuits. And so it's not going to add any difference to our meal here. It's going to add extra deliciousness. I'm just placing that so where everything is nice and even. And then we're going to need our chicken. I had leftover chicken, but this is going to be a delicious like turkey. If you want to do turkey, any of those 2 meats are going to be really good for this like leftover meal. And then I'm going to need half of a pound of spinach. I just did some frozen spinach and calling it good. And then I need 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and just gonna put that at the bottom of your mixing bowl. And then we're gonna need 1 cup of sour cream. We're gonna add that to our mixing bowl as well. And then I didn't add in any of my seasonings that I wanted to, but you could add in half a teaspoon of garlic powder and half a teaspoon of onion powder. That's gonna give it some deliciousness. I kind of forgot about it, and then I put it on top right after I put it in the oven. And then we're going to need 1.5 cups of Monterey Jack cheese. And then I have this huge container of French fried onions. You're actually going to only need 3 ounces. I have this huge container. I think it's like 6 ounces. So I am only going to use half of that. You're going to put in 1.5 ounces into the mixture, and then we're going to top it with the rest of the French fried onions. So you're only going to put in half of what you're required to need, and then we're going to give this a really good stir. And now we're just going to place this right on top of our biscuit mixture. You can also like mix this all together. It's kind of however you want to do it. I did it this way. I find it to be a little bit easier than having to mix all of those biscuits up together as well. And then I'm just going to make sure all of the mixture is nice and even on top. And then we're going to top it with a little bit of frizzled onions. I call it frizzled onions. I don't know. Fried onions, however you want to say it. And then that is it. We're going to place this in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then this is what it's going to look like after it is all done. It is so good. This was probably our favorite meal that we made in this whole entire video. You guys absolutely have to try this one. It is easy and it's really good with chicken. I think it'd be really good with turkey. So it's something different that you can do with your leftovers instead of having just potatoes and turkey. This is a really great and delicious meal. And then I just had this basically by itself, and then has like a slice of homemade bread that we had left over from the day before. We are going to be using up what we have. We are going to be using the rest of the block of Monterey Jack cheese that we used in last night's video with that chicken bubble up. So I'm going to be using up the rest of that. And then we have leftover mashed potatoes. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, is those mashed potatoes. Y'all know, I don't know, but grandma makes a lot of mashed potatoes most of the time. So I'm going to be sharing with you a video using up some leftover mashed potatoes. And then we have some green beans, some tomato soup, and some beef. So I'm sure you guys already have in mind what I'm going to be making. Let's get started. All right, so we're gonna be making some shepherd's pie. So I need 1 pound of ground beef, and I throw that in the microwave, and like usual, I let it go too long because I get distracted because my life is crazy and I have 4 kids. I don't know. I'm just gonna ground this up, and then I'm just using that paper towel method to get all the grease off. I use that when I'm being extra lazy and I really don't want to get another dish out and, you know, use a colander and do all that nonsense. So sometimes it's just easier just to do it like that. And then I need 1 can of tomato soup, and I'm just going to add that into my skillet. I'm going to do all of this in my skillet. Actually, I think it's going to be easier that way. I need 1 can of green beans. In the past, I've done green beans, or I've also done like mixed vegetables. Mixed vegetables works really well. And then I'm going to give that a really good stir. I want to season this, so if you guys have Italian seasoning, that would be good. I just did some salt and pepper and called it good. I was trying to hurry up and just get this in the oven as fast as possible to get dinner on our table as fast as possible. It was just one of those nights. So this is a very simple and easy meal that does not take a lot of time to make. You just hurry up and put everything in there and put it in the oven for about 30 minutes and call it good. So if you're in a hurry, this is a really great meal to do and to make. I'm just going to be using the rest of those mashed potatoes that I showed you earlier. I'm going to be basically just dumping them all in here, smoothing it out, making sure it's all nice and even. And then I have that Monterey Jack cheese, which I have never used for my shepherd's pie before. I usually do American cheese. That's kind of how I was raised, is doing American cheese. My husband likes it when I do like Monterey Jack or cheddar cheese or like a Mexican blend. So I don't usually do Monterey, but it was really good. It was really creamy. I don't know if it was just the Monterey Jack cheese that made it extra creamy. I don't know. But y'all, it was absolutely delicious. I cooked that in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. This is what it looks like. It was so delicious. Normally I make this in like a 9x13 pan, but never in a skillet. So I was kind of curious to see how it would turn out. It turned out wonderful. It was an easy cleanup, a super easy meal that was like on the table in like 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. So awesome. And then I just paired it with some bread, of course, because we had tons of bread left over. And that is it, y'all. Next, I'm going to be making some Hawaiian like turkey, I don't know, like sliders, I guess you could call it. I don't normally do chicken or turkey. I usually always just do ham, so I was interested to see how it would taste. I'm just going to need my Hawaiian sliders, so you need about 12 rolls. I'm going to cut those in half to the best that I can. My abilities on cutting rolls is very limited. I am not a skilled master on that. So I'm like going at every angle to make sure they're like nice and even. I don't know. I'm just terrible about that. You guys let me know if you share the same skill that I have, because I'm just not the best. And then I'm going to flip that, make sure that both sides are even on my cutting board. And then I am going to take my cranberry sauce, and yes, it's upside down because they placed the label upside down. So I had to open it on the other end. So that's why it's like that. And then I'm going to take my cranberry sauce and just put it all over on the very bottom of our rolls. And I did more of like a thick layer, and I didn't end up liking it, and my family didn't really either, because it was just like too much cranberry sauce. So you really don't need a thick layer like I'm doing. You just need a very, very thin layer, and putting that all over the rolls. And then right on top of that, I'm just going to go ahead and place my chicken. I have chicken because that's what we had for like a Thanksgiving dinner. We had chicken because we're not a huge fan of turkey, and it's very budget friendly. But turkey and chicken taste fairly similar in my opinion. I always kind of think turkey is a little bit more on the drier side. I don't know. I just really enjoy chicken. So we put the chicken, but I know that this like cranberry and turkey goes so well together. So if you guys do turkey, it's going to be amazing either way. And then I have this Swiss cheese, but it's actually still frozen. So I'm going to use this provolone cheese just because I just need to go ahead and use that up. And like, I think for stuff like this, like the sliders, the provolone cheese, like the Swiss cheese, any type of white cheese, I feel like it's going to be really good on these type of sliders. And so I'm just placing the rest of my provolone cheese, and really that's enough cheese, but I said, hey, you know what, I have a little bit of this Monterey Jack too, so I'm going to place some of that cheese on top as well to give it a super cheesy. And it was super cheesy. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on, and then now I need to make my sauce. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place all the sandwiches on a 9x13 dish, and then I'm going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of butter and just let that melt down. And then I'm going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of, you can do honey Dijon. I just have this like honey mustard. I don't really have a Dijon one, but honey or Dijon works perfectly fine. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And if you want to add some like parsley or any type of seasoning, I just added a little bit of parsley just to kind of give it a little bit of a kick to it, a little bit of a flavor, I guess you could say. And then start all of that up together, making sure it's all well combined. And you want to make sure that it's nice and thick, because I really like it when it has like that thick texture of a glaze right on top. It's going to bake in the oven even better and make it like kind of like a toasty flavor to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that all over my rolls that we have already made, and I'm just going to drizzle that everywhere, making sure that it's even on all of my rolls. And then I'm actually going to put that in the oven at 350, and not for very long, only for about 10 minutes. I just want to make sure that the rolls are toasty and all the chicken and everything is nice and warm through. But I definitely don't want to burn the bottom, because I've done that before where I've burned the bottom of my sliders before, and it's not very good or appealing whatsoever. And this is what it's going to look like after it's done cooking. It was so delicious. The cranberry with the chicken went really well. And I know if you have leftover turkey, it is going to make it taste even more delicious. And you can even do like cranberry, turkey, and cream cheese is super good. Those flavors just complement each other so well. So if you wanted to do a cream cheese on top instead of like a Swiss or a provolone, I guarantee you guys that would be amazing. And I wanted to show you like a close-up of what it looks like. Here's what it's looking like. And so good. So good. It's definitely such an amazing option for that leftover turkey. And then I just paired ours, because we had it for lunch, so I just paired it with some like chips and some pickles actually. And then for this last meal, I did not have any leftover chicken, so I'm just going to go ahead and cook up this chicken that I have over here. So you can definitely use some like leftover chicken or leftover turkey for this meal. It's going to work out perfectly fine. I'm going to need some bacon, so I'm going to need, I think I counted about 6 to 8 pieces of bacon that I'm going to go ahead and fry up. I'm going to chop it up and make them into little pieces. I know a lot of the time I actually just like chop them up before I bake them, and that seems to work better than frying them up and then like chopping them up with a knife, but it's definitely whatever you guys prefer doing. So I'm gonna add my chicken to my pan that I had already cooked my bacon in. And then once I am starting with my chicken, it's time to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350. My chicken is all the way cooked through. I used about 2 pounds, I believe. And then I'm going to need some cream cheese, I need sour cream. I need about a cup's worth of sour cream. I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my pan. I only need 3/4 cup of bacon at the very bottom of my bowl. And then I'm going to save the rest of that, the 1/4 cup, and I'm going to put that on top of my casserole after I have mixed everything through. And then I will add 1 ounce of ranch seasoning mix. We'll add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. And then I usually buy these type of hash browns from Aldi where it's like the 30-ounce bag. So I'm only going to add half of it because we only need about 15 ounces of hash browns. So add that to your mixing bowl. And then in total we need 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese. I'm going to add pretty close to 2 cups here, and then I will add the remaining half a cup at the very end after it is in our 9x13 pan. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a really good stir, getting that well combined, and I probably needed a bigger bowl, I guess. So when you're mixing this all together, make sure you get a large enough bowl, because you are going to be adding quite a bit of hash browns. And then we're also going to be adding our chicken or turkey, whatever type of meat that you choose to use. And then just add that together and get everything nice and combined through. And then go ahead and get a 9x13 pan ready, because we are just going to dump this in our pan. And make sure that you grease your pan beforehand, because you don't want anything sticking to the bottom of that pan. Alright, once we have added everything to our 9x13 pan, I'm going to top it with that bacon, and then with a little bit of cheese. Just need about half a cup to a cup, kind of whatever you guys prefer. My kids were like, wow, this is super, super cheesy. My kids absolutely loved this dish. So make sure that you put this in the oven at 350, and you're going to bake it in there for about 40 minutes. You just want to make sure everything is nice and cooked through, and your cheese is nice and melty on top. My kids like devoured this. It was so, so good. Like, me and my kids practically ate this whole thing all by ourselves. My husband had a meeting at work, and he did not have any of this, and so we practically ate. I mean, there was like a teeny bit left over, not even like a whole serving's worth. So it was super, super delicious. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making all these different options for you guys, so that you guys can have options instead of having some boring turkey and just all the boring sides. If you guys enjoyed this content, please give me a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing below, and here's some options that YouTube has offered for you guys if you would like to watch something else. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.